everybody, and welcome back to the Macrocast, your source for news and entertainment with the minds behind Macro Records. We are your hosts. I'm Mattson. This is Downlow'd. Apparently he's not going to say anything.
Hi. I lost my voice.
What?
I lost my voice right now.
Downlow'd's just lying to you. Blatant lies.
How are you all this week? So good to hear from you and your send us a telepathic response right now. Oh, that's amazing from the past. You're all listening to this on Monday. We, of course, record the Macrocast on Sunday. But it's great
Monday, June 6th.
To hear from
July
you all.
6th, sorry.
You know what? Leave a post in the comments. Tell us how you're doing. That way we can acknowledge it next week.
Okay. Or just tweet us.
Yeah, that would be... We can get back to you almost instantly. We've revamped the Macro Records Twitter.
If you want, if you have thoughts about the show or, you have something, a comment for us or anything like that, tweet us. Hashtag the Macrocast so we know that's what you're talking about, and we'll probably mention it on the show.
As long as it's, not something, offensive or terrible.
Don't send us terrible and offensive things.
You're more than welcome to. We just might not mention it on the show. If you want to talk to Snoo, you can do that. That's another thing as well. But we're in the process
Snoo
of...
is kind of just he's since we stopped doing full-on video, he's kind of just...
He'll respond to you on Twitter.
Yeah.
So we're in the process of kind of revamping a lot of the Macro Records stuff. The website is going to get a new facelift pretty soon, so be excited about that. Is there any other Macro Records news for this week?
Yeah, we have a release out today, exclusively on Beatport. Martin Peter. Martin Peter and Mexfa, Paradise, out now, available exclusively on Beatport. Go pick it up. You'll be hearing it before and after this podcast today. So
it's such a good song.
Was it 2 weeks ago when it was supposed to come out, or something happened? We had a hiccup or something.
And Mexfa contacted me mate, what's going on with my track?
Did he really?
Yeah.
I emailed him. I don't think he paid attention.
No one pays attention to your emails.
They're
all marked as spam.
You know what I hate is people who try to do business over Facebook. And I'm like,
I do that all day.
I know, it's seriously annoying.
Why?
Because Facebook is
not meant for business.
It can be. I'm not saying it's not meant for business. I'm saying my Facebook is for my personal shit.
Get with the fucking times, bro.
I don't need people messaging me on Facebook asking me to do something for them or some sort of business deal and then being like, "Oh, I saw you read my message on Facebook. How come you didn't respond?"
Well, you know what it is Facebook is a little bit more transient than email. Email's it's right there in front of you. I think that you can favorite it and your conversation is just there for all intents and purposes as far as business goes. And honestly, it is a better way to conduct business. It's more professional, but I can't seem to get into my management uses email exclusively. So whenever I've done bookings or whatever, they're forward us the email. I'm God, I just talked to the guy on Facebook, so it's really bad. That's really bad. I feel bad.
If someone has chosen to use their Facebook for business purposes, that's cool. More power to you. I, however, have not. So leave me alone on Facebook.
And that's what the whole podcast is about. Thanks, guys. This was just a public service notification for you all.
Let's talk about our first topic. Are you ready?
Topics.
Let's talk about the crazy shit that's been going on Reddit.
It's Reddit-pocalypse.
Yeah.
2015.
So,
I'm pretty sure there have been other, moments when people were saying, Reddit-pocalypse.
Well, the most recent one before this was Fat People Hate, when,
This is a part of it.
No, it's not.
Kind of is.
Let me explain to you what's going on now with Reddit. At approximately 5 p.m. UTC, 1 p.m. Eastern Time on Thursday, the 2nd of July, the moderators of /r/IAMA, Ask Me Anything, the people who were behind that, they took down their subreddit and by default set it to private. That means that, no one could visit it unless you were approved by the moderators of the subreddit. Basically, it shut off some of the more popular subreddits. I think the other ones that went down... Do you know which one the other ones went down?
Yeah, there were a lot of them.
/r/s Reddit, /r/funny, /r/books, science, music, gaming, history, art, videos, gadgets. Today I learned documentary.
r/conspiracy. There were a bunch of them.
These are just the bigger subreddits. I also saw, some of the smaller subreddits weren't shutting down because it kind of like, although they could shut down in solidarity with the rest of the people, it would kind of hurt their communities, which are already really small. But for those of you who don't know, Reddit fired /u/tutor, which her real name is Victoria, and she was the person who worked at Reddit and who was responsible for setting up all these AMAs. Literally on every subreddit, she's the person who validated that the celebrity was actually responding to the questions. She was basically the proof that these AMAs were actually happening, And Reddit fired her and pissed off a bunch of
She was kind of a Reddit celebrity in herself. Yeah. She had a ton of karma, and despite the fact that she worked for Reddit, she was well known and kind of beloved among the communities.
And for those of you who don't know, most of the subreddits are run by actual users. Like, those people don't get paid. So a lot of people who put their time and effort into making these subreddits...
The moderators, that's what you're talking about.
Yeah, the moderators behind these subreddits are, they invest a lot of time in them. And then most of them were upset that they weren't, like... They didn't have any advance warning that Victoria was getting
fired. And
they
had no say in it either.
Yeah, so. And a lot of them felt slighted. I think a lot of these subreddits are still private right now.
So why did she get fired?
We don't know yet.
Okay, so I think that a lot of the reason that people were saying like Reddit apocalypse as well does have something to do with the removal of fat people hate
and
the removal. And it's a lot of it boils down to Ellen Pao, and I mean, if you surf Reddit, you've seen a lot of photos that people have photoshopped of like Chairman Pao. That's what they're calling her. So it's all about freedom of speech, I think, is what it comes down to. And people are saying that it's the SJWs, and I think that they're saying that Ellen Pao is an SJW.
Totally.
Which is a social justice warrior.
For those of you who don't know.
But I think that a lot of
we
the
can
internet...
also call them white knights.
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah.
The internet community wants to have the freedom to be able to speak its mind, though.
Yeah.
Within whatever's legal, if that makes sense. I mean, there are subreddits that should be banned. But
let's be honest. There's a lot of toxicity online. Like, a lot of game developers try to stay hidden online because they've gotten death threats, and there's people on the internet who aren't as forward thinking as most of Reddit. There's bad people on Reddit, that's for sure, but I feel
there's bad people everywhere.
Yeah, but the best part about Reddit is it's policed by the community. So chances are there may be one fucking asshole, but there's 10 other people who
you'll get downvoted
who know their shit.
Yeah, you'll get downvoted like crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, but then it's funny because Reddit is kind of like the medium ground between Tumblr and 4chan. Mm-hmm. 4chan's just full of assholes. Tumblr's full of social justice warriors.
Exactly.
So on Reddit, it's there's a different kind of personality. People are typically more insightful. They offer, legitimate responses, logical responses. Yeah. And if someone's a total asshole, they'll get downvoted, unless it's hilarious. Mm-hmm. But some people, typically you can understand if someone's joking or not. People are culturally conscious enough on Reddit to understand that. Or if they're being just totally white knighting something, then you'll get downvoted as well. But I mean, what's your what's your position on this whole thing?
I mean, I'm glad some of the smaller subreddits are opening back up, because it doesn't make sense for the smaller ones to shut down, because those communities are already really small, and if I know one of them was just r/Skyrim was shut down for 2 days, which isn't really a big deal. Someone was like, "Oh, you needed to see the same joke or the same meme for the 100th time."
Actually, I'm pretty sure that Skyrim is a kind of a big subreddit. I see it pretty frequently.
It's a big subreddit, but compared to some of the other ones that shut down, it's a small subreddit, jokes is a huge subreddit, and /funny, a huge subreddit,
Yeah, they have millions of subscribers.
Yeah. I'm not, some of the MMOs have subreddits, and those are, the one place where those communities can go besides the communities around the game itself that aren't, like completely toxic and negative, where people can actually discuss the things they're interested in. But I'm glad that some of the subreddits are opening up. I hope this, like, for the future of AMAs, they continue to happen, and they continue to happen, like, smoothly and regularly.
Okay, so I'm kind of looking into this right now, and it says that no one knows why she has been fired, but she was fired immediately after Jesse Jackson's AMA. So he answered a question that calls him an immoral, hate-filled race baiter. I scrolled down a bit, and it said that, excuse me for 1 second. So it was a response to an angry question about his illegitimate daughter, and I think that perhaps she may have incentivized him to respond to that question, or maybe he complained about it afterwards, like, I didn't want to respond to that,
Yeah.
I don't think that it's really her fault, though. I mean, she's handled so many.
All of them.
We don't know the full story right now.
Literally every single AMA before that was like it was
her.
She wouldn't write the questions, but she would talk to the celebrities, and she would pick out the best questions for them, and like. She would verify that these people were actually answering the questions.
Perhaps, she chose that question as one of the questions, and he was really upset about it and complained, and Reddit just let her go.
And Ellen Powell was like, time to go. Chairman Powell.
Wait, why did you give her an accent? I'm pretty sure she went to Harvard.
Yeah, she's American.
But I don't know. I mean, I hope that the internet stays, free. I hope that we continue to be able to speak our mind on the internet, as in so many other cases we're not able to do that. Like, the internet kind of gives you a vehicle to be able to speak your mind, and it's kind of bad. In person you wouldn't say things that people say on the internet, like, what the fuck did you just say about me? I'll have you know that I'm that's where copy pasta comes from. Yeah. And it's kind of crazy, but I think that it's great that we have that ability to be able to be totally free somewhere.
So
for the most part.
What we'll do is next week we'll provide you with some more updates on what's going on with Reddit.
A bunch of those subreddits have gone public again.
They've reopened, yeah. So we'll keep track of the situation as it develops, and we'll keep you guys informed as well.
I mean, so there's this other form of Reddit now called Vote. It's a VOAT, and I think maybe there's a possibility if this goes even further downstream, people might be switching. It's literally they might be switching over to Vote, but it's literally the same thing as Reddit. It's funny. If you go, I went and checked it out one day, and if you go to it, it's like the same exact layout. I'm surprised they haven't gotten sued. You can subscribe, you upvote things, So I don't know. It's still very much in its infancy, but
I doubt it'll challenge Reddit.
I mean, who knows, man? If people are kind of shooting down Reddit and the direction that it's going in, there's a possibility that, some people might switch over.
Maybe. We'll see.
I think that it's possible, man. It's happened before. Okay, so I talked about this the other day. Everyone was on MySpace, and I remember when I was on MySpace, Facebook popped up, and I was like, why would I get a Facebook? It's the same thing as MySpace. It was essentially the same thing, just a little bit different.
Well, when Facebook first started, it was more for professionals and college students.
Like LinkedIn.
Stuff. Yeah. It was like LinkedIn with MySpace elements to it,
It was like MySpace, but without all of the stupid graphics and all of the MySpace allowed you to
your top 8.
Oh, well, not
the music player,
not even the music player, but not even just the top 8. It was you had a GIF in your fucking background, and there were stars, and you know what I mean,
you're talking about shitty 2000 GIFs, year 2000 GIFs.
These were horrible layouts on MySpace.
No, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
My MySpace is still up, so I went back and looked at it the other day and saw some of my photos. I was like, holy shit. Mostly I was like, I need to get back in shape, so I started going to the gym again. But thank you guys.
I think I've since erased all MySpace, proof that I was ever on MySpace.
It's probably a good idea.
Yeah,
it's for the best.
Let's go to this.
But I don't think that anyone goes to MySpace at all anymore. Period. It doesn't matter if you have one or not. Anyway,
do you think this guy's got a MySpace?
Dude, he probably has a Tinder.
Yeah.
That's an attractive...
Everyone would be swiping right on this gorilla.
That's an attractive gorilla.
So for those of you who don't know, there's a silverback gorilla at a zoo in Japan, and women in Japan specifically are going crazy over this, what they're calling handsome gorilla.
Why? It looks like any other gorilla.
Well, no, I mean, I can see it. He's kind of handsome. Like, he's not as ugly as all gorillas.
If you could only see the face that I'm making right now.
His name is Shabani, and he grew up in an Australian zoo. But
Shabani?
He was moved to Japan in 2007 to mate with 3 female gorillas. Dude, this guy's living the life, man. They flew him down from Australia just so he could mate with 3 different women. Yeah.
Gorillas, not women.
No, I know. God, come on.
So now all the women are going over there and trying to hustle, like, dinner with this gorilla?
Well, I think they're just, like, gawking over him.
Well, that's so bizarre.
Well, I mean, Japan is known for its bizarre culture sometimes.
Well, Japan is, like... I don't know if we talked about this recently, but at E3 they also unveiled a few, like... virtual reality, like, girlfriend things.
Oh, really?
I looked into this. So there's, like, a VR thing that you can attach to the Oculus. It's, like, VR lips, and there's a game that you can play where you're kissing your digital girlfriend.
Wait, hasn't PewDiePie played that game?
I don't think it's out yet, man.
But he's played something similar with the Oculus and, like, kissing someone.
Well, but the lips actually move in and kiss you, so it's like an experience, like you're kissing your...
That's weird.
It's so bizarre, but... I've spoken to a few people and actually looked this up, and I mean the population or what am I trying to say? Like, the sex in Japan is really weird at this point. Like, people they're not fornicating like they used to. You know what I mean? Like, they're like, the men are all interested in, like, anime characters for the most part, and it's just a different culture. Like, it's very much based on success, and a lot of the men they're not like, you know, homosexual, they're not heterosexual, they're just into
the gender
things.
roles in Japan are very different. Like, if you've ever watched any of that anime or stuff, you'll notice that male characters in those shows have very feminine features, and, like, the women in the show also have feminine features, but they're
almost childlike, though.
Yeah, kind of. I guess it's like the youthful appearance, but really, like, the men portrayed in those shows have way more feminine features and, like, attributes.
I don't know how to exactly describe it, but the population rate in Japan has been dropping. Like, people have not been having as many children.
Isn't that kind of a good thing, though? Because I thought they were living on top of each other over there.
Yeah, it is. But, I mean, like, it's a good thing for like, Japan, like, spatially, you know, in and of itself. But it's not really good in terms of the Japanese. You know, like, I mean, people need to, reproduce. Mm. I mean... They don't need to, but, you know, it's just kind of it's a weird kind of culture.
So basically, what you're saying is Japan should become as big as China.
No, that's not what I'm saying. But I mean, it's just, it doesn't surprise me that like something weird like this would pop up where the women are going and gawking at how handsome a gorilla is.
Yeah, and the men are like, "Oh, I went to kiss my virtual my virtual girlfriend.
I want to pay $80 American to, like, make out with a virtual girl." It's not even making out with them either. It's just the kiss, it's just lips that come in and, like, peck you, like, you know what I mean? It's really bizarre. I mean, I think that there's virtual reality is going to go a long way in the future. There's going to be some crazy shit that we're going to see in our lifetimes, but I mean, is that a substitute for anything? I don't think so. I mean, and ladies, that's a gorilla. You can't ever have sex with a gorilla.
Yeah.
It would probably tear you up.
Oh yeah, it most definitely
rip
you to pieces.
Not like in like a perverted way. But I'm saying
like rip your arms off your body, dude, and your legs off your body.
So let's just like, do you know
how
much?
You will just be a bleeding torso.
Do you know how much fucking? Do you know how much strength gorillas have? Oh my god, it's insane.
Did you watch any of the Planet of the Apes reboots?
Why are you bringing that up?
What do you mean?
Does someone have sex with a gorilla?
No, but what do you mean there's monkeys in it?
They're digital monkeys.
Oh my god.
Well, if you want to, like, bring up... Okay, what was your point on this?
I was just asking if you had ever seen those two.
Of course.
You've seen both of them.
No, the first one with like, you know, do they both have James Franco?
No, I don't think the second one does.
And he's like, what's the ape's name? The main one? It's like Willie.
No, it's not Willie.
Willie! He's like, Willie! I taught you everything. And there's his dad was like, he had Alzheimer's.
That
was in the first one, yeah.
I haven't seen the newest one.
I haven't. Rise of the Planet of the Apes.
Is that what it's called?
I
thought it was called... Or no, the first one was Dawn.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dawn.
Yeah, so I still need to watch the second one.
Like Donald.
We have one story about...
Look, on the topic of monkeys...
Oh my God.
Look.
What?
If you want to like... Look at the victims of like monkey abuse, okay? Not like, I mean, or monkey attacks, rather. It is... If you want to... I mean, you'll need some eye bleach after that.
Yeah.
Hopefully that subreddit isn't shut down. But it's brutal. So, ladies, just... I can't urge you enough to not have relations with this gorilla, no matter how handsome he is.
I don't think anyone's had relations with him.
Oh, I think they're thinking about it. Imagine that gorilla in a tux, dude, over some Italian dinner, some chicken parmesan.
Oh, dude, what if this gorilla is set to become the Ultra Humanite or something?
Gorilla Grodd.
Yeah.
How the tables have turned.
Oh, I think on the Flash subreddit, someone was like, we found the new Gorilla Grodd.
He's like going to be in the next Flash season or whatever.
Oh, man. Let's talk about this. We have one TV story. Literally one about TV. House of Cards, which we can expect to come back early next year, has casted a new regular for this upcoming season, and it's going to be Neve Campbell.
Jonah Hill.
No, it's Neve Campbell.
The new Superman is Jonah Hill.
We'll get to that. That's the next topic.
That's cool. Neve Campbell, she was in Mad Men. I mentioned that earlier. She had a brief appearance in Mad Men, and I couldn't pinpoint who she was. I was like...
Most famous for the Scream movies.
And also for that movie, what's it called? Wild Things with Denise Richards, where she was she was naked. They were both nude, dude. It was hot. I had
a serious crush on Starship Troopers Denise Richards.
Dude, I still have a crush on Denise Richards. Yeah. If I met Denise Richards at a bar and I looked like that gorilla, she would be like all about me, dude. I would take her to a nice seafood dinner.
Yeah. Do gorillas eat seafood?
I don't know.
I don't think that's ever been in a gorilla's diet.
It's interesting conversation. If you guys know, just post in the comments. I have a little something to talk about real quick with TV. So I finished the second season of The Blacklist, and it's going to be coming back, I think, in September or something like that. So they this last season was pretty good. If you guys haven't checked it out, I would say check it out. There are some kind of weird things like that go on with the procedural parts of the show, but the story for the most part is interesting. And what's his name? James Spader is amazing. So I never really realized his true like range of talent until I watched that show. I'd seen him as Ultron, but I wasn't like sold really. And this gives you kind of some new perspective. The writing is really good, and the second season is kind of taken. Sometimes shows fizzle out in the second season. I think that this show is still building up. It's going to be one of those series. Hopefully, if they stay on their A game by the third or fourth season, I think it's going to be like really really good. Like Walking Dead was like that. I think it was the fourth season. The third season of Walking Dead was kind of slow for me. I think that was when they just.
I think the second and third
which one was
were kind of slow.
Which one was the one where they got to like Herschel's farm? That was the second one, right? That was the second one because that was when Carol lost her daughter.
Yeah, they find the farm in the second season.
That was the slowest season.
When Carl gets shot by Otis.
Oh yeah, that's right. And what about that was when Shane died in the second season.
Shane was still there. He died at the farm.
And in the end of the second season.
Yeah.
Right on.
And the third season was the prison.
I liked the third season.
And the fourth was
still the prison. No, wait. The third was the governor too, right?
Yeah, the third was the governor and the prison. That happened at the same time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And Andrea died in the third season?
Andrea was in Woodbury. No.
Or the fourth season, I think.
She died in the fourth.
The fourth one was where it really picked up, I think. That was when the governor came. Yeah,
the governor.
When does Walking Dead comes back in October?
All the shows are coming back around October-ish.
So now we're kind of in this weird transition period of no shows to watch.
If you guys have watched Sense8 on Netflix...
Have you started watching that?
Not yet, but let us know what you think about it. I'm probably going to watch it soon.
I did not know that this was developed by the former Wachowski brothers, now called Wachowski Starship.
Well, yeah, because we had talked about this. They weren't getting any more Hollywood funding, so Netflix offered them a show, and this is what it is.
Has it gotten really good reviews?
Yeah, it's gotten pretty good reviews.
Really? I mean, I feel like they kind of went off the deep end, but this show is getting shoved down my throat. When I'm on Netflix, it's Sense8.
What's another show that's been getting shoved down my throat marketing-wise? Suits, the new season started 2 weeks ago. And the first episode of the 5th season was terrible.
Really?
It was the worst episode of Suits I've ever watched. But it redeemed itself.
Let me just tell you guys, Suits is a show about a bunch of anthropomorphic walking, talking suits. And they live their life living on human beings, and it's developed by Pixar. So it's really good. I would watch it if I were you.
Suits is good. I do highly recommend it. But there's a new show on USA, and the marketing for it has just been getting... It's everywhere.
Characters welcome.
It's called Mr. Robot. Have you heard of it?
No. Who's in it?
Oh my god, it looks terrible. I saw the trailer for it, and I was like, "There's no way I'm even watching the first episode of this." No one memorable.
Really?
And it's the whole thing is it's the hacker group Anonymous.
It's about that.
It's kind of a sensationalized anonymous. It's I don't know. I don't know if it's actually good, but the trailer looks terrible.
So I talked to you about this the other day. What was that show called with Rainn Wilson?
Langstrom, I think?
Yeah, Langstrom. That's what it's called, and it's been canceled by. I think it was on NBC.
Bothered watching it.
So apparently, it wasn't very. Some people have it has kind of a cult following. I've seen some people that are really interested in it.
I mean, it comes down to this: NBC is the most terribly mismanaged cable group or network television group out there. It's just facts.
I mean, it's universal. But one thing I will say about the Blacklist is there's the main assistant director of the FBI. His name is Harold Cooper in the show, and he has an uncanny resemblance to Barack Obama. It's really strange. Whenever I'm watching it, and I saw someone post this on the Blacklist subreddit yesterday, they were like, all I can think about when I watch that show is how Harold Cooper is Barack Obama. He talks exactly the same way as him.
Really?
Exactly the same.
That's kind of
It's
creepy.
really bizarre. The one thing that I have a problem with that show too is the editing. Sometimes you have really good editors, but these just they make cuts to people's faces to just show their responses, and they're always. It's whenever someone's explaining something, and so they're always There's always a cut to someone's face with oh yeah, really, all right. So it's this. I don't know. I feel some parts don't develop the story at all, but nonetheless, it's entertaining. So anyway. That's all I have to say about television.
Let's talk about movies. We've got, most of this, what we're going to be talking about is movies.
So Alex and I went and saw a movie earlier this week.
Let's start with that. We saw Ted 2.
What? And, okay, so I've heard a lot of negativity about this movie.
I mean, IGN's review, the main quote from it was lightning doesn't strike again for Ted 2 or some shit like that. I don't know. I thought it was funny.
I had a really, really good time watching it. I laughed really hard. I thought the jokes were actually really fresh.
I laughed a lot too, but I felt like there was too much space in between the jokes sometimes.
Well, here's the thing.
They were trying to tell a story too.
There were some, I think it was effective. It wasn't a stale story for me. There are only so many directions.
The romance between Mark Wahlberg and Amanda Seyfried is so unbelievable.
You could kind of see that from a mile away, but it's not really
No, I knew it was coming. They don't look
like
what's
she
gonna
do?
Couple.
She gonna fuck Ted?
No,
no. They don't.
Why does she have to fuck anyone?
I think that. Well, I kind of liked the fact that they did that because I think that Amanda Seyfried is hot. And I think, like, that's the only reason. Like, I got some gratification out of that. You're right. Mark Wahlberg and her would never hook up in, like, real life.
Well, I mean, maybe they would. They just don't look like they would.
I don't think so, but I think that she's an attractive female lead for the show. The movie. And, you know,
it was kind of funny how they kept poking fun at, like, her appearance, too.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
she's not ugly.
No, she's not ugly, but she does look like Gollum. And there's, like, I think that they're, like, I don't know. I thought that some of the jokes were really fresh in the movie. You know, I don't understand how people could hate on it because, okay, it's like I thought that Ted 2 was honestly better than the first one. Like,
yeah, I do think I laughed more in this. Like
it was kind of it was a lot of the humor was really tongue in cheek and really balls to the wall.
I think,
but I liked it. Like, Mark Wahlberg gets covered in jizz, dude. Come on, and then
you know what? I think getting rid of Mila Kunis kind of lended to that because the whole first movie was about their relationship problems too much, whereas this movie was just more about having fun. The relationship problems were centered around, spoiler alert, Ted and his wife.
But that's kind of better for me.
But it didn't even last long. No. Like, they had problems for the first 10 minutes, and then they were cool again.
Well, that's good, because, like, I mean, I don't want to watch a whole movie of that shit. That would be tiring. And this movie it ran a little bit long, but I think the biggest, like, the reason I noticed that more than anything else is because I drank so much water in that movie, and I just, like, I
don't think it ran long, man. I think the spaces in between the jokes kind of made it feel long.
I don't know. I thought that it was okay, though. Like, there were a lot of references to other movies, as is Seth MacFarlane's work. Yeah. There was the one problem I kind of had was, like, the most imminent threat to Ted seemed a little bit forced. Like, the whole
Donnie again.
Spoiler alert.
The whole Giovanni Ribisi being the bad guy again.
But it is kind of funny. It's like they're like, oh, here's this guy again. And
where's his son? I wonder, like, did Child Protective Services take him away or something?
I mean, his whole, like, motive in this movie was to just have a teddy bear that was, like, walking and talking. You know,
that's all he's ever wanted.
Yeah, he was like, here, guys, we've already mentioned a couple spoilers. There's gonna be a few more, and if you want, you can fast forward a little bit of it in case you plan on watching Ted 2 rather. But when Ted's like, he's like, you know what, man? He's like, I really don't want to die today. How about if I just give you a hand job? And he, like, considers it. The whole like Comic-Con part was really unexpected and really fucking cool. I think they utilized their actors really well. Like, every actor that was in this,
Morgan Freeman.
What's the guy's name that plays, oh my god. He's gay and like he goes to Comic-Con with his partner.
Fucking Patrick Warburton.
He's fucking hilarious.
Him and his boyfriend is like the most dopey looking motherfucker I've ever seen.
But he's hysterical,
life.
Man.
Yeah, and they go to Comic-Con just to be dicks to nerds. Like
they like dump fucking ices on their heads and
like Patrick Warburton was dressed as the Ant, right?
Yeah, no, the Tick.
The Tick.
Yeah.
Wasn't he the voice of the Tick in the cartoon?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
He definitely was, which was really cool, too. I mean, this was like an homage to people who are into pop culture as well.
I liked it.
I think if you don't catch all the references in this movie, you might kind of be like, oh, well, whatever. You know, but I mean, God, there were just so many funny
you'd think
parts.
The people from IGN would have caught all the references. Like, come on.
I mean, you'd be surprised. Who knows? Or maybe they rated it low because they thought that it wasn't that applicable to like the normal person. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I didn't actually read the entire review.
One thing is that okay, so they have this whole scene in that movie about how like okay. She's like it's a space rocket. He's like, that's the fucking Starship Enterprise. But they're talking about how she doesn't know who some actors are or something like that. And
she's pop culture illiterate.
But she knows about books.
Yeah.
And he's like, but you look like fucking Gollum. And she's like, what's Gollum? It's like, okay, that's totally from Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
That was a book before a movie, you know? So I don't know, but
maybe she's not into high fantasy.
Maybe not. Yeah, I don't know. They had to do like a scene with her singing because her agent was probably like, oh, she's a great singer. She was in Les Miserables.
Yeah,
and she is a really great singer. One thing I was thinking is that when I was watching that, I was like, I don't hate this. Like, I typically hate when something's like, and it was forced. But
I didn't hate it. I just felt like without it,
it would have been fine.
It would have been fine.
Yeah, I totally. But see, that's why I'm saying it was probably her representation that was like, if she's gonna do this movie, she's got to have like a part where she's singing. You know, like we're trying to really sell that.
Well, and Seth MacFarlane's all about singing too. Like that guy.
Okay,
that guy loves his musicals and like all sorts.
He totally
of shit
does.
Like that.
But I mean, they made that part really funny. You know, they have like all kinds of. It gets like more outrageous. You know, there's like a lobster hanging there. You're like, what the fuck?
There was a lot of Star Trek references too, which is awesome because Seth MacFarlane is a huge Star Trek fan, and he's also been on a Star Trek TV show too.
Has he really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
You mentioned him being really into musicals, and one part of this movie that I felt was totally fucking out of place was in the very beginning in the introductory credits or whatever, when they were like all dancing, and it was like a total like it was very much like the Family Guy introduction,
but with Ted.
And I just thought it was like, it wasn't funny at all. Like I was like, this is not. I mean,
I didn't expect.
It's a lot to ask.
I hate the opening credits of everything, man. Opening credits bore me to death.
I mean, they're not really necessary.
No, it's such an old time fucking practice.
It's better if the opening credits are almost like totally forgettable than there being like a huge, like Ted really oversells the opening. There's like 2 minutes of opening credits.
You know what I love?
And I thought I was
not
gonna be like,
opening credits, but when there's an opening scene and then we get a title screen that's not too long, and then we're into the movie. You know,
I'm good with that.
It's such an old-fashioned notion to be like, all right, we're going to have all these credits at the front, and there's going to be like a little musical interlude, and it's like, okay, I get it. James Bond movies can do that. Ted 2, please stop.
I mean, and what made it worse for me is the fact that it was like totally like a Broadway style. Like, I don't know. It was like out of place, 100% out of place.
It reminded me of like the show tunes they sing in Blazing Saddles. Like,
yeah. But okay, so when we watched it, there were probably only 4 other people in the theater.
We went at a weird time, though.
I guess we did, but nonetheless, I laughed hysterically in that movie. Like, I laughed.
Are you saying like considering the fact there wasn't like a whole audience there?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's that movie. Like, I walked in there with low expectations. I kind of thought it was gonna suck.
I think I did too, and that's maybe why I enjoyed it. I thought the jokes were funny, though.
Oh, dude, I laughed. Yeah. I laughed hysterically. Like, I mean, you heard me laughing in there. Like, there were parts. I think some of the other people that were watching the movie didn't even think it was as funny, though. Like, I don't know. We laughed pretty hard. Like, I think we caught all of the references that the movie made, though.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I would highly recommend that you check it out if you're into pop culture.
If you're listening to this podcast, there's a chance you'll like the movie.
If you've ever considered going to Comic-Con, or like if you know any of that stuff, I would highly suggest that you watch it. Dude, there's one part where like, I mean, what is it? Like they there was no mention of DC Comics basically at all until that one part. They walk into like a panel.
Oh yeah.
And it's like all the jokes were like so in your face, and it was just like a 1 second flash. You're like, what the fuck, you know? But I'm not going to give it away to you, but they tell you who the new Superman is.
You already gave it away 10 minutes ago.
Well, then you're going to have to backtrack.
So, you also saw another movie. You saw Inside Out.
I just saw that. today.
Tell us what you think about it.
Okay, so wait, out of 10, what would you give Ted
7?
You give it a 7? I'd give it like an 8.5. I would say go see it. Inside Out, I mean, like, the reviews are right. It's a really good movie. Like, I would have to give that one like a 9 out of 10 or 9.5 out of 10. It was really good. Mm-hmm. Even the, like, there's kind of like a tradition, I guess, with Pixar movies these days. So they have like an introductory short. This one had a really good one and it was all musical, and the song was really good. It was about a volcano who would like sing this song because it was lonely and it wanted like to be in love or whatever, and then like, and it's really cheesy, but like when you're watching it, it kind of sells it. It was good.
Did you see it in 3D?
I did. Yeah. I watched it, and this was a movie that was actually really good in 3D.
I bet
a Pixar movie in 3D kind of makes sense. Like, Jurassic World in 3D doesn't really make as much sense to me. I don't know. Unless you're, like, watching it at Universal Studios and they're fucking blasting you with, like, all the 4D effects and shit.
I mean, in IMAX 3D, it's probably a lot better.
Yeah, totally. I tend to agree with that. So, anyway, the opening thing was superb, and you kind of get into the mood for watching the movie. Now, the movie is all about emotions, and it basically surrounds like the emotions of this 12-year-old girl. The exposition for the movie is very quick, but it hits home. It's really good, like her growing up. And the cast for this movie includes this woman. What's her name? I think she played Phyllis in The Office. Her name is Phyllis. Her name is Phyllis Smith, and she plays Sadness. Sadness is awesome. Like, all the emotions are really, they sell it really well. Like, this movie was written really well, and it's super fucking entertaining and emotional. And I mean, it's like the reviews are all spot on. It's hard to not kind of get emotional when you're watching it. At some point or other, it's going to appeal to you in some way. Like, the reason that you feel the way that you do, I mean, it's kind of something that you never really think about. So they're like, I don't know, there's all these emotions in your head that are kind of doing their job from day to day, and it seems like you wouldn't be able to write a story about that, but somehow, like, Sadness screws things up, and they go through this they have to find their way back into, like, the main what's it called, headquarters or wherever, where they're like adjusting her emotions. So she has, like, it basically, this girl has a huge mood swing over the course of the movie.
Puberty.
And, no, it's not. It's at the very end they're like, what's this puberty button do? But they look into other people's, like, emotions as well, which is really funny. I don't know. I had some really good laughs over the course of the movie. This is one of Pixar's best movies, like, no doubt. I mean, I would recommend that you go watch it without giving too much away about it. I feel like the casting was all really well done. The animation is like, everything is like glowing, and watching it in 3D is really cool because it's not like Toy Story was all very, like, I don't know, kind of like more bland toy. Like, it's like a toy, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Toys don't glow, but these are emotions, so they kind of got to get creative with it. But I would. It's a high rating movie. I mean, read the reviews. The reviews are all right. So
cool.
Go check it out. We were gonna go watch Terminator Genesis, yeah, but it's there. Okay, so there's like no showings here. And all of the reviews for it are fucking terrible.
Maybe we can. Yeah,
I'm still down to see it.
Maybe we can go see it during the day instead of trying to go on a weekend at night. There might be another.
There's only like one in the morning and one in the evening.
Dude, I love going to movies in the morning because there's the theater isn't as packed and the prices are cheaper.
I mean, so when I saw Inside Out. One thing I really don't like is when there are a bunch of kids in the movies and they're all crying or, like, talking, you know, and I've just had bad experiences with that. I mean, it's cool. Bring your kid to the movies. It's a great, it's good. It's a good experience. It's like family bonding.
Where did that happen to us, like, really bad that one time? What movie was it?
I don't know, but there was someone, like, screaming.
Was it The Dictator?
I don't even remember watching that, to be honest.
Yeah, we saw The Dictator. That was funny.
I think that might have been the case, and we were like, why did you bring your child to see this movie?
Yeah.
Like, that movie was so fucking blatantly offensive.
It was Sacha Baron Cohen. I didn't expect anything less.
I know, but I mean, shouldn't the parents know?
No, yeah,
you know, not to bring your, like, 2-year-old child to the movie, and they're like yelling. Doesn't it show a dick in that movie? Like,
no, that's Bruno.
Oh, right. So I don't know. I mean, there's definitely a lot of, like, sexual innuendos in The Dictator.
Yeah.
But I'm not like a huge fan of going and seeing movies that are, like, super packed, you know?
I don't mind it as long as there's not a bunch of kids in there.
Yeah. Someone clapped at the end of Inside Out, though.
Really?
Someone did clap. I kind of had.
I mean, the only movies I've been to where people have clapped is like Star Wars and Lord of the Rings.
Well, that should kind of show, though. I don't think that these people were like all like watching it necessarily because I love Pixar movies.
Yeah,
you know. I mean, maybe they were, but I went and saw it on my own, so that made me kind of a weird dude, like going in there and watching this fucking animated Pixar movie and sitting there with my my popcorn or whatever. I wanted to take notes on it. And honestly, I was like so enthralled by the movie, I just kept my phone in my pocket the whole time, and which is kind of like, I wish I had more to say about it, but all I really want to say is I think it's good enough for you to go pay the money to watch it. Apparently, it hasn't had it's undersold at the box office, but it came out on top. It beat out, I think, Jurassic World, but Jurassic World's already been out for like a month. Yeah. So, but Jurassic World's beaten out Avengers too, from what I understand.
Yeah, it did in terms of not opening, but first 2 weeks or something. What's it called? What else? Next week? Oh, it's not next week. It's the week after, isn't it?
Ant-Man?
Ant-Man, yeah.
And now they're kind of shoving that down our throats. It's getting closer and closer, and on YouTube, all of the ads are Ant-Man. Yeah. Which it isn't their commercial for it isn't very good. She's at the very end, right before it ends, who is it? Evangeline Lilly, who's in that? She's you're getting pretty good at this, and Paul Rudd's I'm getting good. That's the one part that I remember of the trailer.
What?
She's you're not bad at this. And he's yeah, I'm getting pretty good. That's all I can remember. I think Ant-Man's gonna be good. I don't think they need to well, I mean, I don't know. I'm sure they need to put in a significant amount of promotion because they don't want to lose their investment. But and it is a little bit riskier than something like the Avengers or even Guardians of the Galaxy. Why would you go and watch?
No, man, Guardians was pretty risky. No one
But why would you? I mean, there's Guardians of the Galaxy had a fucking knockout cast. It does have a knockout cast, but there's only one superhero. And then you have what's his name from fucking House of Cards playing Yellow Jacket.
But I mean,
I don't really.
He's been understand. in since House of Cards, he's done a couple big budget movies. This isn't his first one.
I mean, so Hank Pym is supposed to be Yellow Jacket
in the comics. I mean,
but why did they make? Is Yellow Jacket even a villain?
No.
So why is maybe he's not Yellow Jacket?
Yeah, maybe he's just someone else.
What are the Ant-Man villains? Isn't the Wasp one?
The Wasp, really?
I think so.
Oh god.
Isn't
That's
it?
a terrible name.
Well, I mean it's Ant-Man, dude. Come on. All of his rogues have to be
I don't really care about his rogues, and rogues are a DC thing, man.
Well, all of his villains,
but I don't really care. I don't care about Scott Lang. I care more about Hank Pym and his involvement as, more of a scientist and shit than I do about Scott Lang as a thief.
He's a huge part of the Marvel universe, and they they've already undersold him in the continuity.
Yeah. I mean, this isn't the first time we've talked about this either.
No, but I'm excited to see it. You said yesterday, you were why don't we just buy tickets for Ant-Man right now?
We should. So, I watched a terrible movie.
Oh, this is great. It's always good to talk about a terrible movie on the Macrocast. I look forward to this.
It has 3% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Only 3%?
Yeah.
3%. So the other one that you watched with Jennifer Lopez, The Boy Next Door, scored higher.
What was its score? I don't remember.
20, wasn't it? Or 15 at least?
Let's see. Now I have to know.
Maybe it was 5. I don't know. I'm lowering it little by little.
It was 10%.
Okay, so was this one worse than that?
No way. Not even close. It was way better than the Jennifer Lopez thing.
Tell us about what the movie was.
Well, okay, the premise itself was really awesome. I thought, there's a demon horror.
Wait. Tell us what the movie's called.
It's called I, Frankenstein.
Okay.
And,
with Aaron Eckhart, right?
Aaron Eckhart. The cast was just it may not have been a bunch of superstars, but the cast were all people that I knew and
And you like them.
I enjoyed them.
This was his movie, I think, right after The Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah. No.
So, wasn't it?
Dark Knight Rises. He wasn't in Dark Knight Rises.
He wasn't. He
was in The Dark Knight.
Oh yeah, The Dark Knight.
That came out
Sorry.
in 2008.
Excuse me. When did this come out?
2014.
What?
Yeah.
I thought this came out in 2010.
No. The rest of the cast, man, Bill Nighy, come on. He's an awesome
Who does
actor.
he play? Dracula?
He's... No, he played a vampire in Underworld, man. No, he plays, the head demon. His name is Nibirius. Wasn't honestly,
this made by the same people who did Underworld as well?
Was it?
I think it was produced by the same guys.
Miranda Otto, she plays King Theoden's son in Lord of the Rings, or daughter. I'm sorry. Who else? Jai Courtney was in it, and he was actually pretty good. Mahesh Jadoo, the guy who's in Marco Polo, He plays like he
what?
plays Kublai's like adopted son in Marco Polo.
Who is that guy? Mahesh Shadu?
Yeah.
What else is Jai Courtney in?
He's gonna be Captain Boomerang in Suicide Squad.
Ah, yes, that's
he was in Terminator Genesis.
He's in Divergent.
He played what's his name? John McClane's son in the newest Die Hard they did. Like, he's a pretty solid actor. I mean, the main problem with this movie is that the story was kind of like hollow, and the characters were kind of hollow, and the writing was just not interesting. But the premise itself of the movie was really interesting. I feel like, with some different writers, this movie could have been one of those movies that really surprises people.
Don't you think maybe
January time?
Maybe it could have been because of the director, though. Because Stuart Beattie he's only directed this and one other movie, and he's mostly a writer.
But
and his writing credits are astounding. Pirates of the Caribbean, 30 Days of Night.
But I didn't have a problem with any of like the cinematography or how it was shot.
That's not the director though.
Well, yeah.
I mean, that's all the DP, director of photography.
Yeah.
So the director is dealing with all of the acting.
Shit, yeah. But I mean, the director's still framing shots and whatnot too.
It's mostly the DP.
But I mean, either way, like he
has last call on it. Yeah.
The special effects and CGI were really top notch. I thought all of it looked good. Like the gargoyles look really awesome.
This was okay. So Kevin Griveau, who was a producer for Underworld, was also one of the guys who had worked on this movie. Okay, tell us about the movie now.
Like the story.
Like why? Walk us through like how terrible it was.
It actually wasn't that terrible. Like,
give us the lowdown.
It just had no substance to it, Like
what were some parts that were memorable for you? Or some cringeworthy kind of?
There was nothing really cringeworthy. Like, the action sequences were kind of cool. I mean, it wasn't anything special. Yeah, I feel like Aaron Eckhart. I liked the movie he did before this, and it also got bad reviews, which was Battle Los Angeles. Like, a lot of people hated that movie, but I thought it was okay.
What was that about?
That's like where it's like an alien invasion.
Actually, I enjoyed that movie.
I thought it was okay. Like, but I feel like he does not make for a great leading man in this movie. Like, he's the most uninteresting monster of Frankenstein I've ever seen.
So what's the movie about?
Okay, so he's Frankenstein's monster, right? But there's also there's a war going on Earth between gargoyles and demons. Like,
why?
So when Lucifer fell, like the demon horde was released upon the Earth, and so God sent the gargoyles. Like, the gargoyles are the good guys, basically. Like, they fight for God. It's kind of ridiculous, man.
It's kind of like Underworld.
And at one point he's like, regular weapons can't kill the demons. Like, and he's like, only weapons marked with the mark of the gargoyle. And I'm like, oh god, fuck yeah. I guess that would be a cringeworthy part. But I don't know, man. Like,
go on. What else happens?
It was everything in this movie is hit or miss. Like,
recall some more parts.
So Miranda Otto, she played King Theoden's daughter or niece or whatever in Lord of the Rings. She's like the head of the Gargoyle Order or whatever. And so Bill Nighy, who is the head, like, he's the demon prince and like commanding the horde. But
it doesn't it get more ridiculous when you like describe this?
Yeah, so Bill Nighy wants to use the same technique that Dr. Frankenstein used to create to create an army of soulless people, then which the demons could come back from hell and inhabit them, because the demons can only inhabit people who don't have souls. Like, and that was it. I mean,
the writing was kind of iffy then. Yeah.
No, the writing was the worst part. What's it called? The movie was only an hour and a half long.
Who is Tara?
She was like one of the doctors working for.
She's played by Yvonne Strahovski.
She was awesome.
She's hot.
I enjoyed her character. She was one of the people, like, Bill Nighy was a businessman, like, even though he was a demon prince, he was pretending to be a businessman, and he's using all his resources to, like, further the Victor Frankenstein's, idea to make it work or whatever, and she's one of the doctors who starts out working for him and then realizes, like, oh, he's the bad guy. And then she kind of, like, it's so stupid, she falls in love with the creature. Jai Courtney calls him a creature, like, 10 times, and finally Miranda Otto is like, why do you keep calling him a creature?
Does he look like a creature at all?
No! Like, but he's got, like, scars on him and shit, like he's been sewn back together.
Yeah.
But he's, I don't know. And Aaron Eckhart's, like, trying to give, like, some different voice in his performance, and he sounds like, it sounds stupid.
Wait, what do you mean?
Like, he sounds like Oliver Queen when he's under the hood,
Like he's like Christian Bale's Batman.
Kind of, yeah. It's really stupid.
So, I mean, I just looked into this. The guy who directed this, Stuart Beattie, also wrote the script, the screenplay,
oh, really?
Along with Kevin Giroux, who is like one of the main guys behind Underworld. Mm-hmm. So they kind of, I mean, obviously, I feel like Kevin Giroux is like, yeah, we should have like some kind of characters like versus these other characters. Mary Shelley is also listed as a writer because she provided the characters.
She inspired it. Yeah.
But Stuart Beattie is one of the guys who made. Okay, these are a few of his writing credits. Collateral, which I thought was a good movie.
That was an okay movie.
Pirates of the Caribbean, the first one, and he's got credits on all of the rest of them for just the characters, but he wrote the first Pirates of the Caribbean, which I'm sure he's made a ton of money off of. 30 Days of Night, Australia, G.I. Joe, The Rise of Cobra.
Oh, God, that movie's a stain.
Honestly, he has more, shitty movies under his belt than, he's got, Tarzan, apparently, for 2016. There's a Tarzan movie coming out, which he's written. I mean, it's probably a better idea to stay away from anything that this guy writes. But he also directed it, so...
Honestly, man, the premise was so cool. I feel like it was just poor execution.
Did you ever watch Van Helsing?
With Hugh Jackman?
Did you like that?
No.
You didn't? I mean, that's another really cool, premise, though.
Yeah, I feel like Hugh Jackman wasn't the man for that role, though.
They could have, but that's a movie that they could have made really cool.
Yeah.
The vampires were really underwhelming in that movie, and just the whole plot for that movie was kind of dumb.
I think that's what kind of the monsters were really underwhelming in this movie as well.
Really?
The demons were supposed to be kind of scary, but they look like I don't know how to describe them. They look stupid.
Did you go into this with high expectations?
Nah.
How did you watch it? Did you plan?
It was on Netflix.
Okay, so it was just a really low-scoring movie on Netflix.
No, not really. I knew I needed to watch a shitty movie this week, so I looked on Netflix, and I was like, oh, I, Frankenstein, I haven't seen that. It had 2 stars on Netflix, and I was like, okay, this is what I'm watching.
Just give it a shot. And you sat through the whole thing.
Yeah.
And so what would you give it out of 10? Was Netflix accurate?
4.5.
So 2 stars, basically.
Yeah.
Netflix knows you better than you know yourself.
Maybe a 5. I think that's kind of stretching it, though.
Okay. So you wouldn't recommend that anyone watches it, though?
I mean...
Unless you're really into Frankenstein.
It's kind of cool, but it's not... It's by no means a film of substance.
I mean, were you really into the Underworld movies?
Okay, the first Underworld I really enjoyed.
Me too.
Second Underworld, when they were like, alright, this whole movie is a flashback. I'm like, okay, fuck this, I'm out.
Did you watch any of the other ones?
The third one, which was, had Marcus, one of the other vampire leaders, and he was like an actual bat dude.
Yeah.
That one was okay. I didn't mind that one. The one after that, where it's like Celine has a daughter now and whatnot, that was kind of shitty. I didn't like that one.
Wait, but did you, there are more Underworld movies.
There's 4 of them.
Underworld Revolution or something?
Revolution?
Yeah.
Evolution.
Is that what it is?
Underworld Evolution was the third one. Rise of the Lycans was the second one. And Underworld Awakening was the fourth one.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was confused.
The first one was by far the best one.
The first Underworld? Yeah. It spawned, how many sequels?
Yeah.
There's Underworld Next Generation, too.
That must be the 5th one. Are they making that?
I guess so.
Oh, God.
But Kate Beckinsale's going to be in that.
That does not need to be made.
She was in the 4th one, wasn't she?
Yeah.
She was in the 3rd one, but not in the 4th one.
She was in all of them.
Really?
Yeah. In the one that's all a flashback, she plays Lucian's wife, Victor's daughter. Lucian's lover.
Okay.
Yeah, because remember how that's why Victor saved her in the first one, because she resembled his daughter. So they just used her in the flashback one as the daughter.
Oh, okay. That's so ridiculous.
Yeah.
Awakening, Underworld Evolution, and a fifth film titled Underworld Next Generation is in production and set to be released 2016.
I think the lore behind that franchise is really cool. Like the whole vampire lycan war that's been going on. I don't know. I did not like most of the sequels.
So Celine is only in 2 movies.
No, she's in 3.
Underworld. Oh yeah, Underworld, Underworld Evolution, and Underworld Awakening.
And Rise of the Lycan, she plays Victor's daughter.
So she plays a different character.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because I thought she's not the same one. She plays Sonja.
Yeah, which is Victor's
No, she's played by Rhonda Mitra.
Really?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah, it's a different woman.
So they just look alike?
Yeah.
What the fuck, man?
Yeah, it's a different woman, dude.
That's so stupid.
Because I had a feeling, I was like, Kate Beckinsale is not in all of them. Because I watched one of them and I was like, this is not the same. I don't know. Let's see.
Wait, so that Rhonda Mitra girl is on the last ship? It's not Kate Beckinsale?
No, I don't believe so. Underworld Evolution, Underworld Rise of the Lycans, Underworld Awakening. I guess she's in all of them, but she plays Celine.
Yeah. She's not in Rise of the Lycans, though.
Yes, she is.
As Celine?
Oh, but only as previously recorded flash forwards.
Yeah.
So they were like from the other movies.
Yeah.
So she's not actually in it.
God, it's so uncanny how much this woman looks like Kate Beckinsale. Or how much they look like each other.
Rhonda Mitra, did you look her up?
Yeah.
She's not, I mean, Kate Beckinsale is a lot more attractive.
No, but they look...
Oh, it's Rhona Mitra.
Yeah.
Sorry.
What were you saying?
Rhonda.
Jesus.
You know what? She does look very... Actually, now that I see some photos of her, she does look very similar.
Yeah.
Wait, did you say she was in The Last Ship?
Yeah.
What is that about?
That's a TV show on TNT. I haven't watched it.
And you thought it was Kate Beckinsale?
Mm-hmm.
That's why you're like, oh my god, she's so... Oh, okay, I got it. She was in Shooter as well. Also, Boston Legal.
She was in Shooter?
Yeah.
But wasn't the chick in Shooter like the one that helps Mark Wahlberg? Wasn't that some other chick?
I did not know James Spader is in Boston Legal. I've never seen that show. You know what? Yeah, now that she does look really similar.
Yeah, Kate Mara. That's who's in Shooter as well.
What does Rhona Mitra play?
I don't know who she plays in that.
She's been in... Like, her main thing is Underworld, though.
Yeah. Ali
G in the house. We watched a pretty funny video of Billy Piper and...
Haley Atwell.
Yeah, hanging... you know what? They look like they would hang out together.
Someone was like, there you guys go, the 2 hottest women in Britain.
So smoking hot.
Yeah.
God, they should just hook up.
So, let's talk about this. We were going to talk about it on last week's episode, but we never got to it. Spider-Man has been officially cast for...
El Hombre Araña.
For Civil War and his own
so he's
film.
actually already shooting that stuff. It's funny how quickly they went from just casting him to like sending him out there to the set.
So Spider-Man is going to be played by Tom Holland. For those of you who, like...
I don't know who he is.
Have you ever seen The Impossible?
No.
It's a really good movie. It's with like Ewan McGregor, and it's about...
You're not selling this for me.
It's about the tsunami in Thailand. And like,
is this recent? They're
this family who's visiting like Thailand when the tsunami goes down, and they all get separated and whatnot. It's a really... I enjoyed that movie. It was really good. The kid, Tom Holland...
From 2012.
Tom Holland did a good job in that movie, so it kind of inspires some confidence in me for him as Spider-Man.
Naomi Watts is also in this.
Yeah. It's a good movie. What is it? What's the IMDb score?
IMDb score is 7.6, Rotten Tomatoes 81%.
Yeah, it's a good movie.
I have never seen... Oh my god, this picture of Naomi Watts makes it look like her teeth are rotten.
Yeah, some shit. She gets fucked the worst.
Wait, no, it's not even from the movie. It's just like... This is just a really weird photo of her. Look at this. Doesn't that...
Yeah,
her teeth look really bizarre. She's like licking her teeth or something in her press photo. How old is Tom He's 19.
Yeah, he's really young. Which is good. I think that's a good move.
Another British actor to play Spider-Man. Not a problem with that. Whoever portrays the role the best, honestly.
Andrew Garfield may have played it more like...
He was much better than Tobey Maguire.
Yes, but a lot of people had valid concerns with Andrew Garfield. Was that, like, he was too much of, like, a good-looking, like, Peter Parker, you know? Like, Peter Parker's like a nerdy little fuckwit, you know?
A nerdy little fuckwit?
He is.
It's a terrible thing to say.
But that's what he is, man. Like, he's kind of a loser, you know?
So, like, I guess my whole thought on, like, Tom Holland, I was like, God, he looks a little bit young for the role, but his press photo is from, like, when he's 12 years old. So.
Yeah.
Or 14, still.
He still looks young. But I don't know, man. He might be able to kill this.
I think it's going to be really good that Marvel's throwing him in at Civil War as opposed to doing, because let's not do a whole other Spider-Man origin story. Kevin
Feige is quoted as saying, "Right now we're interested in seeing villains we haven't seen before." I think he means in terms of on the screen and not just like they're going to make up new villains for Spider-Man.
I hope not.
But
Jaden Smith.
Yeah, I don't know.
As Spider-Man.
Some people, like, they've been doing fan castings for the rest of the movie. They're like, this is who I want to see as this person or that person.
Who have they said?
You don't know? You're just putting me on the spot, aren't you?
Well,
oh, God.
What villains would you like to see in the new Spider-Man?
Spider-Man villains aren't my favorite. Like,
they're some of my favorite Marvel villains.
Like Dr. Octopus and, like,
we've already seen
Sandman. I'm saying, like, the ones they've shown me, I'm not a fan.
I would really be down to see Venom done right.
Venom and Carnage done right could
kind of feel like they need their own movie.
They just need to not cast Topher Grace as Venom. Like,
this isn't
fucking hard, people. I mean, come on.
How did that happen in the first place? Know. He must have had, like, really great representation that were just super ambitious.
Or the people or Sam Raimi is just like, oh, this is the guy for the job. Like, okay, bro.
Wait, I think that Sam Raimi just didn't give a shit anymore. Like, at that point, he was like, well, fuck it. I've already made millions off of this, so
yeah,
I don't really need to worry about this anymore. Who are some of the biggest Spider-Man villains, though, are... Like, I don't know if Kingpin's like one of them or...
I don't think so, man.
Bear with me, hold up. Yeah, Kingpin is one of them.
He fights him at some points, but he's not like a major Spider-Man villain, is he?
Yeah, I'm looking at them right now. There's the Rhino, Scorpion.
Dude. Oh, if they bring back... I loved Paul Giamatti as the Rhino.
But it wasn't done right either. He
just didn't get enough screen time.
They had him in, like, the suit.
That's cool. I thought it was cool.
Okay, that's like... I wasn't really that into that. The Vulture, Dr. Octopus, Lizard, Rhino, Scorpion, Jackal, Black Cat.
Black Cat would be awesome. That's like a major Spider-Man villain.
Morbius would be cool.
Yeah.
Hammerhead, Silvermane. Oh, you know who would be great is Mysterio.
Yeah.
I'd be super down with that. But I don't know. I'm kind of down for them to just do, like, justice to one of the main characters. Like, Doc Ock would be really cool if they did it right.
Or, dude, like, Chameleon or Vulture. Like, Dr. Ock is, like, the most well-known Spider-Man villain.
Come on. Green Goblin is definitely most well-known.
Green Goblin, Dr. Octopus, and Sandman. The three they fucking did. Like, those are the most well-known.
Who is I guess Mr. Sinister is most... Oh, come on.
The Sinister Six, too.
Morbius... Venom is, like, one of the most well-known ones, if not the most well-known.
Well, Venom and Carnage. Both the symbiotes.
But, I would really like to see them just do justice to something like... I don't know. I'm looking through all of his... He has, like, some more minor villains. I don't really want to see them make a minor villain into a major villain for Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Spider-Man's, like, Marvel's main... squeeze, I feel. Now it's the Avengers for the MCU, but I think that, like, as time goes back, people are like, Spider-Man, dude.
Yeah. If they really need to focus on doing it right. Like, now that the MCU is in full force, like, they can't just sprinkle a dash of Spider-Man in. Like, it needs to be done fucking proper.
I feel that.
Yeah. So let's talk about this. There's been a confirmed casting for Captain America: Civil War, and it's William Hurt, who was in the Incredible Hulk with Ed Norton, the one that's still considered canon for the MCU. He played General Ross, which was what's her name's father.
Yeah, and wasn't he the bad guy?
Yeah, he's kind of the bad guy, but in the comics, he's like super obsessed with Hulk and his powers. And he eventually becomes Red Hulk in the comics.
Okay.
So a lot of people are like kind of shitting themselves right now. They're like, oh, so are we going to see Red Hulk in the MCU? Which I think would be really, really badass.
What? Okay, wait. So in the first Hulk, wasn't he, or someone else was Abomination, right?
You're talking about the one with Eric Bana?
The Ang Lee one.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember.
That was like, wait, hold on.
That one was really bad.
I forgot who it was.
Sam Elliott? Was it Sam Elliott? Or Josh Lucas? Wasn't Josh... Yeah.
No. Yeah, it was... maybe it was Sam Elliott.
Either way...
No, it was Nick Nolte. Nick Nolte was Brian Banner, and he was his dad. He used the same thing on himself and turned into the Abomination.
Oh, that movie was terrible.
It was really bad.
At least the one with Ed Norton was okay. Like, it wasn't great, but it was way better than that. And Tim Roth was Abomination in that one.
Can I ask you something about... so this kind of has to do with comic books. Like, what would you... If there were any franchise that you would like to see turned into a graphic novel, what would you like to see? Because I kind of came across someone had mentioned earlier that they would like to see Harry Potter turned into like a graphic novel or a comic book series.
That could be cool.
I think that it would be interesting.
I think what about Person of Interest?
That would be really cool.
That would make great comic books.
Get to see some, yeah, for sure, man.
Yeah.
I mean, even if the show were to end or something like that, they could take it in so many different directions with comics. You know, I mean, like with the Harry Potter idea, there are pieces of the world that could be explored that weren't, you know, that you simply hadn't visualized before. Or you could see it the way that J.K. Rowling had kind of intended for it to be seen, etc.
Isn't there a rumor going around that there's going to be a new J.K., like, she's going to make something else? She's going to be making another movie, or, like, you know, maybe not making it, but she's going to be, like, the creative force behind it, and it's going to be, like, an extension of the Harry Potter universe, but not have all the same characters.
Isn't it, like, Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them?
No, that's like, didn't she write some extended things for Harry Potter that she's been putting out?
I feel like, and I was thinking about this the other day, I feel like J.K. Rowling's, like, entire, everything she's going to do is going to be about Harry Potter. It would be really strange for her to write something else, but she should do. She should give it a shot, but who knows if she would be successful.
I mean, dude, like, most people know her story, right? She was living homeless trying to write books, and, like, most publishers kind of laughed her off. Like, when she first started Harry Potter, you know, most people didn't think it was going to catch on, and now she went from that being homeless to a billionaire.
Oh, yeah. Well, she's not a billionaire anymore.
Not anymore.
She gave her money away, but, like...
But
she's still worth, like, $600 million.
Yeah, and she was a billionaire at one point. She went from homeless to a billionaire.
So she said in 2007 that it's unlikely that she'd ever write any more books in the Harry Potter series. Then she said in 2010 that another book might be possible.
I think she said something recently, like a month or two ago, about new Harry Potter properties.
It doesn't say anything about this. 2012, she said she had a couple things on her laptop aimed at a slightly younger age group, but it doesn't say anything about the Harry Potter film universe.
Yeah.
It couldn't be, like, with the same actors.
No. Yeah. From what I read or heard or whatever the rumor was, it was going to be something with all different actors, all different characters, but still part of the greater whole that is the Harry Potter universe, you know?
Okay, spin-off films. Is that what we're talking about?
Kind of, I guess you could say.
J.K. Rowling in 2013 announced that she was writing a script based on her book Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. The adventures of its fictional author Newt Scamander, set 70 years before the adventures of the Harry Potter films.
So it's still part of that universe. It's just not the same characters.
And on May 13th, 2014, Warner Bros. Announced that Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them would be released on November 18th, 2016. So that would be the next thing that's coming out.
A little over a year away.
But I think that that's kind of going to be a hit or miss kind of deal, because people care about Harry Potter. They're going to be like, Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, you know?
Well, I think
if
it's
they really
smart.
promote it.
I think it's smart for her to stay in that universe, because she spent 15 years, 17 years fleshing it out. There's no point in like...
That would be like Tolkien doing writing a spy novel.
Yeah.
It would just not make it. She's not like Crichton. Like, Michael Crichton was able to write all kinds of different shit.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was thinking, though, on the topic of like it being developed into a comic book, it's also owned by WB. Like, Warner Brothers is putting out, they own the properties for Harry Potter. Mm-hmm. So that's DC Comics.
Yeah.
Like, DC could do a great job with it. And it would be in the same world as everything else.
That'd be dope.
Or it would be a different Earth.
No, it would most definitely. There's a lot of the Earths which we don't know what's going on yet, so it's possible.
So imagine, like, Superman in Harry Potter's world. Brainiac is like...
Well, okay, so we know the one thing that's constant throughout the multiverse, Darkseid.
Oh,
like,
yeah,
Darkseid versus Harry Potter. Like, that could be a badass fucking battle.
Dude, who would win?
I don't know, man.
Darkseid, for sure.
We don't know how, like... We don't know how their magic would interact with Darkseid, though.
Well, okay, like... Yeah, I guess you're right, but Darkseid's a fucking badass.
I'm not talking about, like, one of the regular wizards. I'm talking about, like, Harry Potter himself, or Voldemort, or so, you know...
Is Voldemort dead now?
Yeah.
I guess he is dead.
He's pretty much dead.
But who knows? He could be brought back to life.
Because the last Horcrux was Harry himself, and he died and came back to life.
If she was really smart, she'd write another Harry Potter book.
I would love that.
I would read it.
So, speaking of Harry Potter, this is actually cool that we're kind of segueing into this. There's a movie being made about Grand Theft Auto creators Rockstar. And
about Rockstar or about Grand Theft Auto?
About Rockstar and Grand Theft Auto.
Okay.
And it's
documentary.
It's starring... No.
What?
It's a movie, dude. It's starring Daniel Radcliffe as Sam Hauser, who was the CEO of Rockstar.
Oh, this is going to be like a Social Network kind of thing.
Kind of. And Bill Paxton, who's fucking awesome, known best from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. recently. That's his most recent role.
Yeah.
Is what I meant.
He's been in so many different fucking things.
People loved him when he was
he's an Oscar winner.
When he was like 20 years old, people were obsessed with that guy. But he's playing Jack Thompson, and for those of you who don't know... Jack Thompson is an American activist, and he's currently disbarred, but he was an attorney. And he was like...
That makes me think of the guy from Silicon Valley.
No, this guy was one of those people who was like, oh, video games cause people to become violent and stuff like that. Oh,
really? Okay.
So, as a lawyer, he was kind of like an activist against video games, which is how he ended up on the other side of this suit with Rockstar, you know?
Right.
So this movie sounds pretty cool. I'll give it a chance.
I mean, I kind of wouldn't be opposed to watching a fucking badass GTA movie.
No, this is not that.
Like I thought you were mentioning that, and I was like,
about the company Rockstar.
I was gonna be like, fuck yeah, I would watch that shit, dude.
This is I guess it's being produced by the BBC, which makes no sense. Conceived for an adult audience, this special 90-minute drama tells the story of controversy surrounding the computer game Grand Theft Auto. Arguably the greatest British coding success story since Bletchley Park. I don't know what relation this has.
British success
Maybe Sam
story.
Hauser is British? I don't know.
Yeah, perhaps.
Maybe.
Did you watch, have you been keeping up with Daniel Radcliffe at all?
No.
You watched that movie Horns that he was in?
No.
Dude, it's really good.
Really?
Yeah. I watched it, I was like...
Dude, but he was in that shitty movie before that.
Oh, what? The
Woman in Black?
Yeah, but that's like, I mean, that's a really... I mean, everyone has fucking farts in their movie career. He doesn't care. He's worth like $400 million.
So Horns is good, where he's like some creature?
He's like totally fucked up because... I don't know. It's like something with the devil occurs, basically, and he starts growing horns.
Is that why he's like a goat man?
He's imbued with, like, the powers of Satan, basically.
What
and
the fuck?
I don't know. The story is actually... It's not very long, and it's basically... It's pretty self-contained, but it's really good. I watched it with Diana. She's been on the show before. We both enjoyed it.
Let's go 6.5 out of 10 on IMDb.
I thought it was
46 on Metacritic.
It's probably not very good on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
It's rotten?
I don't know. It's probably rotten. Horns, Rotten Tomatoes. Let's see. 41%. Yeah.
I don't know. I enjoyed it.
Let's see what the audience score is. I like to balance it. Oh, the audience score is bad.
Really?
50%.
Oh man, that's not good.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was a kind of sad movie. I don't know. I enjoyed it. I thought it was good.
So let's talk some DC movies. So Cara how do you say her name? Delevingne? Cara Delevingne? How do you say it?
I don't know who you're talking about.
You don't know who Cara Delevingne is? She's the chick with the really thick eyebrows. She's really hot. She's like a model too. She's playing Enchantress in Suicide Squad.
I'm looking her up.
You know who Enchantress is?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. So
she's attractive.
She's
a model.
She's also an actress. She says she's never been so excited to see a film as she is for her upcoming Suicide Squad role. But she goes on to say some stupid shit. She's like, there are only 3 girls in Suicide Squad, but they have the best roles. And she was like, female superheroes are normally naked or in bikinis. No one would be able to fight like that. Wonder Woman, how the hell does she fight? She would be dead in a minute.
She's clearly never read like any Wonder Woman.
Dude, her skin is like impenetrable almost.
It's not even just that though. I mean, okay, so she's not the only character that wears close to nothing.
Yeah.
You know, but a lot of the reason for it, like that people have said, is just for like mobility. Like, so these women, you know, these women can like run.
I feel like that's kind of a bullshit excuse for the other side too.
But look at Star Sapphire. Like, Carol Ferris wears nothing.
I agree with her. I agreed with her until she brought up Wonder Woman, which is like the stupidest fucking example you could use, you know?
I mean, not every character is like that. Look at like what's her name? Stars. Like from Stars and Stripes or whatever.
Stargirl?
Or wait, isn't like Stripes her mechanical like companion?
Are you talking about a DC character?
Yeah.
I know Stargirl.
It's Stargirl and Stripes. That they call them Star and Stripes.
Really?
Yeah.
I know Stargirl. I don't know Stripes.
Okay.
But like Stargirl, she's dressed a little scantily. I mean,
she wears pants.
I agree with her. Like, it's kind of bullshit that the women have to be dressed like sluts. But but then to go on and say Wonder Woman, she would die dressed like that? No. Wonder Woman would not die. I'm sorry.
This is what I'm talking about.
Oh, okay. This must be a whole series then.
They were in Justice League.
Stargirl was
in the TV show.
Stripes wasn't.
Yes, he was.
I don't remember him.
Or he was in, or maybe it was in Young Justice.
I remember Stargirl. Stargirl's awesome, man.
She is awesome, but she's not like scantily clad.
No, not really.
Neither is Miss Martian.
True, but Miss Martian doesn't wear clothes. She's a shapeshifter. She's always naked.
Yeah, well, I guess if you want to get technical, Zatanna actually is like.
No, I feel like sometimes she's dressed slutty and sometimes she isn't.
Slutty.
Yeah.
I feel like, well, I mean, I suppose so. She's kind of like an entertainer, though. So doesn't it kind of make sense that she's like, she looks sexy, you know?
She's a magician, a real stage magician, too.
What are some... Poison Ivy is like, her whole thing is based on like sex. Harley Quinn isn't like... She's kind of sexed up, but she's not wearing nothing. She has like her thong sticking out in some like iterations of her, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I mean, it's sexy, you know? I mean, come on, like superheroes, like all
look
of them.
Look at Batgirl. Batgirl's not dressed sexy at all.
None of the Bat family is, but like, look at the men in the superhero constant. Like, they're all fucking jacked.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, come on, that's kind of the same thing. Like, women look at those characters, they're like, yeah, I want my boyfriend to be like, dude, think about it. Look at Hal Jordan, who's just a pilot. Like, he was in the Air Force. Any of the Green Lanterns. Kyle Rayner is an artist who lived in Williamsburg. He's got like fucking 8-pack abs, dude.
Yeah. Like
muscles that you could you'd have to spend like years working out, you know? Like, it's just their bodies aren't like something to really focus on because it's fiction.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's the United States because Americans are like, sex, no.
And I agree with that statement, too. Like, the writers and the people who made the comics may put them dressed like that, but it's hardly, like, I don't go into a comic book being like, oh, these bitches better be scantily clad, or I'm putting this comic book down.
You watch porn for that.
I mean, like, as long as her story is good, whichever character it is, I'm okay with that. You know, like
they don't ever really like make it a huge deal either. It's never like, you know what I mean? It's all about the story and the DC stuff.
Well, and it doesn't look like the female characters in Suicide Squad are all sexed up. I mean, Harley Quinn a little, but the rest of them don't.
In the books?
No, in the shot we saw of all the actors.
Dude,
remember?
Harley Quinn doesn't even look like sexed up.
No, she's not. I mean, like, she's got the pigtails, which is like kind of.
That's totally Harley Quinn, though.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, that's her character, you know. And I don't know. Why would she even bring that up as a topic of conversation about Suicide Squad? It doesn't even make sense.
All I'm saying is I feel like she made a bullshit statement.
I kind of agree.
She was trying to be like, I feel like she's like a fake feminist because we haven't heard anything like else out of this.
Maybe it was like her manager was like, say something like this because you'll get like
a feminist comment, like, you know. But I mean, look at the MCU. Like, the female characters haven't been overtly sexed up. Like,
I mean, like, which ones are you talking about? Some of the X-Men characters are pretty sexy.
But
they're all like big-breasted women.
But none of them are like dressed in nothing, you know?
Oh, right, yeah.
Like, well, I was talking about, like, look at Scarlet Witch and Black Widow from the last movie.
Oh, you're talking about the cinematic universe.
Yeah. Like,
I thought you were talking. See, I haven't.
She's talking about movies, man.
What? Well, when has that ever been the case in movies?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, when you're watching a superhero movie, that would kind of take you out of the like zone to see some like, and no kids would be able to go watch some woman in a thong running around like fighting crime, you know?
Oh, I mean, I guess they have Mystique. She's like naked.
Well, yeah, but it would be NC-17 for any... Like, if you had Star Sapphire on screen the way she's portrayed in the comics, like, her nipples are almost showing.
Yeah.
You know, like, it would be... You couldn't watch it. You couldn't take your kids to it. Like, superhero movies are intended to be watched by the family. DC kind of makes their world more serious. Like, I would be fully down to see... I mean, but then Marvel has R-rated movies, too.
But and you know, it's not like Star Sapphire chooses to dress like that. That's just what happens to... Like, she just looks like that when she puts on the ring.
Okay, well, the Star Sapphires are all powered by love.
Yeah.
And, like, they can't even differentiate between love and lust sometimes. Like, you know, so they think it's the same thing, so they have to look, like, sexy.
Right, and when the ring creates their armor or their look or whatever...
They're all going to look really good.
Exactly.
Like, no matter what lantern you are, I think that... I was thinking about this the other day. Like, when you get the ring, does it make you super jacked? Like, I'm wondering about that, because...
I don't remember.
I don't think that's ever mentioned at all.
Don't they... Was Ryan Reynolds super jacked in the movie?
Yeah.
Before he got the ring?
Yeah, well, yeah. He was jacked before.
Well, yeah.
But, I mean, look at a character like Larfleeze, who... Larfleeze has, like, all of the power of his own lantern, etc., but he's a fucking boar. Like, he's, like, jacked, too, you know what I mean?
Okay, but the ring doesn't just change your appearance, though, too. So if you're already strong, no matter which ring you're wearing, it's going to make you stronger, right?
I mean, physically...
It's going to supplant your power.
The ring has its own power.
No,
like, it depends on what ring you have. Like, look at it
supplants you. Like, if you're a normal dude but then you wear a power ring, you're stronger, right?
But are you going to get muscles from that?
Probably not.
No, I don't. Yeah. But so maybe all of these characters are already jacked to begin with. Because there's no, like
Jon Stewart and all... Well, Jon Stewart was in the military, so he was
a Marine.
Yeah.
Hal Jordan was... The only one who isn't, like, from... Guy Gardner was a cop.
Yeah.
Like, and a fucking linebacker. But Kyle was just an artist.
Well, what's that? Simon Boz? What about him?
He was, he was a criminal, like a career criminal, and he was, like, he carjacked stuff or whatever. But the reason that he did it was to save his sister from going broke or something like that. Then he gets caught by the police, and there's some huge, like, manhunt for him.
It's kind of good that we're talking about Green Lantern, because we still need to know who's going to be playing Green Lantern in these movies. But
that's, like, 10 years away.
Tyrese...
Gibson?
Yeah. He talked about how he's been in contact with with DC about playing the character, and he really wants
Jon Stewart?
Yeah, he wants to play Jon Stewart.
That would be dope.
He's said the oath already. Come on, let's just get this guy in here. Him as Jon Stewart, Chris Pine as Hal Jordan, and I think they could really,
I feel like Chris Pine would be a better, Guy Gardner.
Nah.
Dude, Hal Jordan, I don't think that he would be, I don't know. I've read enough of the Green Lantern stuff I don't know. I don't think that, Green Lantern is probably my favorite DC property. Mm-hmm. And I feel like Hal Jordan is, maybe. I don't know. That's all I can say. He doesn't really look like it to me, in my opinion. But
I think he
don't know.
does.
Kind of. I know what he looks like.
I mean, I think it could work.
Yeah, I suppose so. I mean, they'll make it work. But
I mean, either way,
Green Lantern has
let's
to be...
Let's be honest, Hal Jordan is drawn not very well in the new 52 Green
sometimes.
Lantern. Oh, he looks terrible.
It depends on... Dude, they have 5,000 artists that they contract.
Well, not just for Green Lantern, man.
Let's talk about the main people who do Green Lantern. Let's talk about Ivan Reis and Eau Claire Albert, who do, most of the drawing and coloring for Hal Jordan. And
in New 52?
They've done it on the main storylines.
Yeah.
And
I'm talking specifically about New 52, Hal Jordan.
It's a lot of the same artists. The stuff is carried over, but I think that the ones that you've read, okay, so when you read the first volume of Green Lantern, some of it's weird, but it's because from issue to issue on that, there were different artists.
Yeah.
I remember reading that myself and going from one issue and going what the fuck just happened? Is this even the same story? I
was talking specifically about Hal Jordan and how he's drawn, though. His face looks weird when he's not wearing the mask.
I mean, you so rarely see him when he's not wearing the mask. I don't ever pay attention to that, really. Those are honestly my least favorite parts of the Green Lantern stories, when they're he's flying the plane and shit. I'm come on, this is so much based in his origin.
Yeah.
He's not he's still an Air Force pilot. I don't know where he gets the fucking time, because he's in the Justice League and he's also an intergalactic police officer patrolling, basically in the New 52, patrolling the entire universe.
Yeah.
I mean, even though the Guardians are fuck the Guardians, but they're no, you're stuck on 2814, which is his sector. Every Green Lantern, in case you don't know, has their own sector, and I think that there's one or two per sector. So it differs. In the pre-New 52 Green Lantern stuff, there's Mogo. Well, Mogo is in the New 52 as well, but he's a planet, a sentient planet, or a sentient planet. I don't know how to say it. That's a Green Lantern, and his sector partner is a fly.
Mm-hmm.
It's the biggest one and the smallest one.
Yeah.
It's cool. I don't know. I feel, as far as the movies go, they've really got to do a good job and not screw up in the same way that they did with the previous Green Lantern with Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah.
So I read Secret Origins, which it's pre-New 52, but it's supposed to be the birthing effort for that film. And they totally just ignore all of the really cool shit that happens in that comic book. They've got Hector Hammond, and Hector Hammond is cool, it's such a small part of it, though. Atrocitus is the main part of that whole thing. Mm-hmm. That doesn't even happen. They were okay, well, it just kind of, and okay, Hector Hammond doesn't get his power from parallax. He gets it from another meteorite that just happens to crash down to Earth when Atrocitus crashes down as well. But they were let's just forget about that, and we've got to put parallax in there because everyone knows parallax. Even though Sinestro Corps has nothing to do with it. At that point, the whole parallax thing doesn't even make sense, because it's still the yellow imperfection in the green light. If they would have made that more flushed out into the story.
They tried in the movie, with Sinestro kind of going dark side in the movie,
But he's still a Green Lantern.
Yeah, but he's the one who summoned Parallax, right, in the movie?
Dude, that doesn't happen until so much later.
Yeah.
He has to get, okay, Sinestro has to get, they banish him into the power battery, or they lock him up in the power battery, so he makes acquaintances with Parallax. Then he gets banished away to, actually, that's much later. He gets banished to the alternate dimension, the antimatter dimension, where he gets banished to the planet of Quard, where they're mining like this fucking yellow light or whatever, and he has no power. He's just banished there, so he'll never cause trouble again. But on that planet, he figures out, oh, this like fear powers this, so that's why it's the Sinestro core. He's the only person that has like his own core, you know?
Yeah.
So that happens like way later though. He's in terms of the movie, nobody really knows what Parallax is at that time. Like, Parallax should not have been a threat, like, breaking through cities and shit. Like, they're like, oh, we need to have, like, some kind of massive, catastrophic, ordeal. Like, similar to what happened with Man of Steel. You know what I mean? But really, it was kind of unnecessary. Like, they should have focused more on what was actually happening in the books. And when I've just started reading Blackest Night, and there's kind of a lay-in to the story. It's like a prologue that's written by the one of the producers of the Green Lantern movie, and he's like, yeah, Jeff Johns, we're just shooting this, and I kept thinking about how Jeff Johns is going to be so proud of all of this. Like, he was like, you know, like, he's going to be like, this is unbelievable. I mean, he had to sign off on it, so that kind of like blows my mind, you know, all of this great story that was told, and it's all just flushed down the toilet.
I'm sure they probably, like, there was a lot of money invested in it already.
So Hollywood
even if he didn't like it, I guarantee you it still would have came out.
Yeah, they're like, we honestly don't care if you like it or not, but we're gonna have that in the comic books, like, oh, it's so great, this and that. I mean, they like, who would be like, yeah, let's make Hector Hammond the main villain, and then Parallax is in. I don't remember. Was Parallax in his brain? And his head never got big enough in the movie either. Like, his head's supposed to be huge.
Yeah.
Like too big for him to even like hold up. He has to it has to be like sustained by like metal rods.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. I'm kind of thinking about going back and watching it though again.
Why not?
Well, I've read enough Green Lantern at this point to after I'm done with Blackest Night.
Good.
I know all the characters now though.
Yeah.
Like, I know every single Green Lantern character, so.
Yeah, but even though, it's still, the super elementary characters that are in the movie.
Apparently, you see, Lyra and Kat Matui and what's Kanjar-Ro and, a bunch of, legit ones. So.
Yeah, you see some, but those guys are kind of prominent Green Lanterns, man.
Not really. Kat Matui's not. Lyra's not, really. I mean, Lyra's dead in the ones that I'm reading. She's, one of the first Red Lanterns.
Yeah. She
gets banished for killing Abin Sur's son. But see, there's so much lore in the Green Lantern stuff. If they did it, they'd have to do it right. I'm hoping that they do it right so that we have an actual cinematic build-up to something like Blackest Night. Well, or, one of the events.
I'm more concerned with, if they're going to have a Justice League, there needs to be a Green Lantern. This is supposed to be Dawn of Justice, where's Green Lantern? That's all I want to know. Speaking of Dawn of Justice, they released a bunch of photos for it.
You know what, man? I'm growing to not like Ben Affleck as much as Batman.
I kind of like it. Look at this picture right here.
It was the one, scroll up.
The first one?
No, this one, right there. I was like, that's just so Ben Affleck-y.
So you've seen all these, right?
I've seen most of them. I haven't seen that.
This one with all the people, it's the scene with Daenerys when she frees all the slaves, except that
they're like, Mama.
People start to worship Superman in the comics, even, I think we see that in the trailer too.
Oh no! Why does Lex Luthor look like that? He has a full head of hair. What is this, dude? This is not right. Oh my god.
I mean,
what?
I'm gonna reserve my judgment until I see it.
Oh my god, dude, he looks ridiculous. He looks like a fucking oh my god, the lead singer of some shitty alternative. He looks like Chad Kroeger from Nickelback.
Everything else looks really good about that movie, though.
We haven't even seen anything of it. I think that DC is taking a note out of Marvel's book as far as their promotions go, and that's why we have that information about Suicide Squad, and everyone that's talking about it is it's going to be the best movie ever. Chris Pratt went on record saying, "Yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy 2 is going to be the best movie of all time."
What?
He said that.
No.
Yes. He went on record saying that I talked about this on the podcast a few weeks ago.
I mean, I liked Guardians of the Galaxy, but that's not a prediction I would ever make.
He said it was going to be the best movie of all time.
There's no way.
So maybe it's just Chris Pratt being Chris Pratt, but
maybe.
I mean, they've got to do a lot of positive PR to bring DC out of the gunk. Like, you know what I mean? Out of the garbage. It's been sitting there for a while. Any property besides Batman, people are going to be really skeptical about.
I mean, even
Superman.
God, everyone loves the Nolan Batmans, and so do I. Like, I don't have a problem with them, but it's just...
It's not even right.
If I were to make a Batman movie, it would not be like Nolan's Batman at all.
Honestly, though, I mean, if who could really do it right? Like, Kevin Smith is a huge Batman fan, and I think that he would fuck it up.
Honestly, man, the people from Rocksteady, like Warner Bros. And Rocksteady, who wrote the scripts for the Arkham games, those are the people who need to write the next Batman movie. They know the fucking characters, and like they know what they're doing with
How much
Batman.
gameplay went into that? How many hours of gameplay?
What do you mean?
How many hours of gameplay went into the last video game for you?
Like 20?
Dude, that's a lot more time to tell an awesome story. Like when you're writing a story in 2 hours,
most of those
and trying
20
to condense
hours
it,
is like
main storyline. How long? There's no way it's an hour and a half or 2 hours.
No, but like it could be condensed into that. Like I could definitely take the story from Arkham Knight and turn it into a 2-hour movie, you know?
That's a bold statement. In the next episode, Alex does just that.
Yeah.
2 hours of Batman's... We're going to do a script reading.
Dude, I'm not about to write a Batman script. They'll just steal... I don't own the property, so they'll just... Like, I don't have permission to write it.
They'll be like, this is great, we're taking it.
Yeah, it's like the best Batman script they've ever seen.
And you remain uncredited. It's your life's work.
And they don't pay me anything.
Written in a week.
Fuck.
I mean, I think that the games are all really well done. But also, would that really appeal to somebody who's not a Batman fan to begin with?
I'm talking about in terms of utilizing characters and stories, you know? Like, I thought we were on the same page in terms of, like, look at that Green Lantern shit, man. Like, do you think the movie wouldn't have done as well if they made it differently, like, with done justice to the characters? Do you think it, like, people wouldn't have gone to it or something? Because... I don't know, man. I
think it would have been better if they would have stuck to the source material a little bit more.
Exactly, and I don't think people who don't know comic books wouldn't have known either fucking way. They would have just gotten a movie that was better.
Yeah, I feel you.
I mean, you know?
I mean, it's kind of... as much as I hate to rag on him, it is kind of Jeff Johns' fault, though, for like for including the introductory thing with Hector Hammond or whatever, and then Hollywood was like, oh, well, we're you know what, it's just easier, we're gonna do him as the main villain. Like, that's the way it's gonna be, you know? So, I think that as good as he is, and I have nothing but praise for the guy, but I think that you have to take into consideration how Hollywood is going to react to some of this stuff.
No, yeah. And that's why you need to, like, to do this stuff like what we're saying, it may not always be possible, but it's something that when they're making these movies, it needs to be the first thing they consider about, like the first thing they think about when they're trying to make these movies, you know, is how true to the source material can we be, and how much, like, obviously, you know, I'm not stupid. I know that Hollywood, you know, Hollywood is Hollywood. If they're going to make a movie, if they're going to put $200 million in something, they're going to go the route that they think people are going to pay the most money for, you know? But
yeah. I mean, who is David Goyer? What has he worked on? Do you know? Because he's one of the writers for Batman vs. Superman. It kind of seems like they should at least have one guy from the comic books, like, on board with the guys that are writing it and being like, that's right, or no, that's not right. Like, that's not, you know what I mean?
Well, not even going that far as to just, like, someone who's going to offer them advice that's going to be taken seriously, but advice that's, you know...
I mean, Jeff Johns is listed as an executive producer. Christopher Nolan.
Batman v Superman?
Yeah.
Christopher Nolan?
Christopher Nolan is also an executive producer.
Really?
Yeah.
That's kind of weird.
He produced Man of Steel as well.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that. But he didn't have much, like... He didn't write it or direct it or do anything. He just put up money for it?
You still have a say in what kind of goes on. Like, there's a production board or whatever. But I think, like, the guys that are really solid... Well, okay, so Jeff Johns is on the board because he's, the president of DC now? Or something like that?
He's the head of DC.
The head of DC. But, like, who... Like, there are other guys that write more Batman than Jeff Johns does.
Yeah.
You know, like, maybe that should be one of the guys that's on the writing team.
Wow, David Goyer wrote the storyline for the first Call of Duty Black Ops.
Game?
Yeah. It's like one of my favorite Call of Duties, too. He wrote the story for Dark Knight Rises, Batman Begins.
Well, see, that's why. So they're
but then he's wrote some shit ones, too. Blade Trinity, like, come on.
Devil Dolls?
He wrote The Crow, and people love that shit.
Jumper,
People hated that movie. I think people just hate...
Puppet Master versus Demonic Toys.
I feel bad for hating Christensen, man. Everyone gives that guy so much shit.
Dude, have you seen... Okay, what was the guy's name that played the first Anakin?
Yeah.
Did you see the photo where he's, like, his mugshot? They were like, he actually grew up into, like...
He got a DUI or something recently. Yeah. He says that movie ruined his life.
He got picked on a lot, apparently, and, like, they overpassed him for a lot of roles, so he couldn't really even act anymore.
But, I mean... He's also got drug problems too, so
that happens.
I mean,
look at the guy from Terminator.
Which one?
Edward Furlong.
Oh, who played John Connor?
Oh my God, so many fucking drug problems. It's like unbelievable.
But he's still acting, no?
I don't think. Well, if he does, he's in like Law and Order as like the criminal.
Hey man, like TV shows are actually stable work compared to working on movies.
Not if you have a one shot on a TV show.
True. If you're a guest star, you're not doing shit. But. Like the people, like Mariska Hargitay probably made a killing.
Mariska Hargitay.
Law and Order.
What was that kid's name who played Anakin?
Let me get it for you.
They said that he grew up into a real Sith Lord.
His name is Jake Lloyd.
Jake Lloyd.
Yeah.
What's up, bro?
He was also in Jingle All the Way with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Oh my God, dude.
I love that movie.
Dude, wait, so David S. Goyer also wrote Ghost Rider Spirit of Vengeance.
Was that the second one they made with Nicolas Cage?
Oh, dude, he wrote some Constantine TV series, too.
But, I mean, Constantine wasn't that bad. It wasn't badly written. It was
that
just,
great?
Like... I want to know who decided what stories they were going to tell. Like...
Well, who decided about the whole story overall?
Yeah.
It just didn't really make much sense. We've said that before, though. Anyway, that's our show. I'm Downlow'd. That's DOWNLOW''D. You can find more about me at IamDownlow'd.com or SoundCloud.com/download. Facebook.com/officialdownload. If you want to come like my post, Twitter at Downlow'd here, and I want to encourage anybody who's in El Paso or the El Paso area, West Texas area, or even further out, to come out this weekend. It's July 11th. I'm going to be playing Mudfest in El Paso with Alvin Risk, Designer Drugs, Halfway House, Betsy Larkin, Lucky Date.
Where's that taking
really good
place
guys.
at?
It's at Escarate Park, and the tickets are only $25. If you purchased them last week, and then you already know it was $25 for 2 tickets. But this should be a lot of fun, so come on out and check us out. I hope you all had a great 4th of July weekend, and here's to the next week. Alex is going to tell you about Macro Records, all of the great and cool, just awesome, beautiful, amazing things we have going on.
If you enjoyed the show, it would be much appreciated if you could leave us a review on iTunes. It helps get the show into the ears of new listeners. If you want to tweet us at Macro Records and use the hashtag #TheMacroCast or the hashtag #AskSnoo. Snoo's, he quietly listens in, but if you got a question for him, we'll ask it.
If you have a question about show production, ask Janine.
Go to our website, thisismacro.com. It's the hub for all things Macro Records. Everything we do there is in one nice, concise little place. You can find it all.
Little bundle.
We shall see you next week, everybody. Goodbye.
Enjoy Paradise by Martin, Peter, and Mexpa.